First walk with Clarica involved. This is the organ transplant police vehicle in Quebec. I don't know if there's anyone in any other province at all. There's people, we can run them over. Squish, squish, wah! Hey, holy big sign that tells you which way to go.
It's a traffic advisor.
I know.
You don't want to give them signs. Because lots of people want to give it, and they don't. Yeah.
OK? Ah ouais, non, ben, ça va être content. Manquette de rage en bien. Ah, t'es chaud, hein? Quand tu vas, t'as vu ta vidéo.
Je dis, c'est tellement facile à faire qu'on peut le faire. Si vous dites l'allusion, on sympathise, on a de la peine, je suis sûr que quand vous écoutez Opération Soleil, vous pleurez. Si on fait un sondage, tout le monde, 50% des gens pleurent, on dit, Caroline, c'est entre les mains, quelque chose que la population peut faire. Puis quand ils vont faire quelque chose, c'est pas de l'argent, c'est qu'ils vont sauver, ils vont donner un don d'organe, ils vont sauver une vie, ils vont permettre à des gens de rester en vie sur cette terre. Et what I was saying, Mr. Marcelo, was I have a kid that has cancer, okay? And that's something we cannot do. All we have to do is pray, and there's all kinds of foundations to pick up money to find, to cure the sickness. And what you're doing today, what we have today is something we can automatically, what you do, action and reaction. If you get an organ, you save somebody's life, automatically. It's automatic. So it's a great cause, and it's a cause that I'm saying it's funny that we have to fight for it. It should be normal. Okay? Ce que je dis, c'est que c'est un peu plat parce que c'est une cause qu'on voit se battre. La preuve, il y a un porte-parole, il Joubert, des gens qui disent aux gens, hey, réveillez-vous, vous avez quelque chose que vous pouvez faire, vous allez sauver des vies automatiquement. Et je pense que les gens ne sont pas conscients. Souvent, dans la société, la vie va tellement vite, et les gens ne sont pas conscients de ce qu'on peut faire dans ce monde-là. Je trouve ça un peu triste de voir que il faut signer notre permis de conduire pour donner nos organes. Premièrement, ce n'est pas tout le monde qui conduit. Alors, je pense que ça devrait être le contraire. Ça devrait être une obligation. On donne nos organes. Si on ne veut pas les donner, on signe, pas les donner. Parce que moi, je vous dis, moi, je veux donner mes organes, puis je suis sûr que mon permis de conduire n'est pas signé. Ma femme, elle sait que je vais les donner. Alors, même s'il m'arrive un accident, je vais les donner. Mais il y a beaucoup de monde qui veut les donner, qui ne sont pas conscients qu'il faut signer le permis de conduire. Je pense que ça devrait être l'inverse. Je pense que c'est important d'avoir des gens comme vous qui, avec les mesures qui sont ici, de dire aux gens, écoutez bien, là, on a une cause incroyable, on parle de sauver des vies. Un corps humain peut sauver 3 ou 4 vies, je ne sais pas, c'est quoi les statistiques? 8 vies, OK? One body can save 8 lives. Imagine. Et pour ça, je vous dis, il y a des gens sur cette terre qui sont touchés, qui sont en attente. François faisait penser Walter Payton, un athlète de chez nous qui a joué pour les Bears de Chicago. Qu'il souffrait d'une maladie de foie, il est mort à 45 ans parce qu'on ne lui avait pas trouvé aucun dommage de partir. Ça, c'est un exemple parmi tant d'autres. Il y a des gens qui ont des enfants, des adultes, et qui attendent des dons d'organes. Et encore une fois, je pense que moi, j'embarque avec vous, puis je lance un message tout fort aux gens. S'il vous plaît, signez votre permis de conduire. Mais je pense qu'à l'inverse, je demande au gouvernement de trouver une façon légale, tout en respectant les gens, de dire aux gens, regardez, là, on va inverser la façon de faire, on va dire aux gens, vous donnez, si vous ne voulez pas donner, vous signez une fête, vous ne voulez pas donner. Je pense qu'il y aurait plus de dons d'organes qu'on sauverait énormément de vies. So what I was saying was, I mean, you have to have somebody to fight for a cause. You're there to fight for that cause, and we need you there to sensibilize the people how important it is that we have something that's easy to do. No money we need. All we need is give your part of your body to other people to stay alive in society. And it should be the opposite. I was saying, here we have to sign to give our organs. And a lot of people forget to sign, don't have the moment to sign, and when they have an act, it's too late. So we should be the opposite. It should be everybody gives their organ, but if you don't want to give it, you have the choice. You can sign not to give it. So that's the message I want to send out to the government, and also give you a message that I'm behind you. The whole population is behind you, and I'm happy to have the media here to give you to give out this information so people are sensibilized to your cause. Encore une fois, je pense que je dis aux gens, attendez pas que ça vous touche. Vous avez la chance de faire quelque chose. Et vous savez, quand on est touché, on se sent tout seul. Et on a l'impression qu'on est tout seul, on n'est pas tout seul. On a des gens comme vous, comme Yves Joubert, qui sont là pour appuyer une cause. Mais je dis aux gens, à contrepartie, aidez-les, signez votre permis de conduire, parce que pour l'instant, c'est comme ça que ça fonctionne. Mais j'espère que le gouvernement va trouver une nouvelle façon de faire pour qu'on puisse sauver des vies de façon assez facile. Alors, encore une fois, merci beaucoup de votre présence. Et là, j'ai promis à François de lire ces trois phrases-là. I promised my François to read the 3 languages. 2 I have no problem. 1 is harder. I think it's Italian. C'est italien?
C'est un italien, je marche.
Ah, c'est italien? OK. Alors, je vais vous lire en 3 phrases. Je vais vous lire en français. Nous cheminons avec vous jusqu'à la victoire finale. We stand by your side until the final picture. And it's so easy to win this thing. It's terrible when you read this. And la dernière phrase, c'est en italien. Camminiamo con li fino alla vittoria ultima. Ultima. Is that all right? Yeah. That's a good one. Merci beaucoup.
Quand M. le maire a dit que Walter Payton était un athlète de chez nous, il avait raison. M. Payton des Bears de Chicago, vous le savez, a fini sa carrière comme coureur automobile. Il est venu à Trois-Rivières au début des années 90. Il était à ce moment-là en émission, il était en attente d'une greffe, il n'est jamais venu. Il est mort à 45 ans. Mais pour que les Walter Payton de ce monde puissent survivre, il existe des gens comme Yves Joubert. Joubert, pendant que je parle, moi je suis pas capable d'improviser, je suis pas encore rendu maire. Fait que, je vais lire mon texte, ça ne vous dérange pas trop. Monsieur Marcello, Monsieur Lévesque, collègues de Clarica, Madame, Messieurs, Monsieur Rivier aussi, Monsieur Jean qui ont été invités. Saviez-vous que la Mauricie a été la 2e région au Canada à s'impliquer dans la cause des dons d'organes, après Sherbrooke? Et ça, grâce au support de la Mutuelle du Canada à cette époque-là. Sous la présidence de son fondateur, M. Richard Tremblay, l'ACDO, ou l'Association canadienne des dons d'organes, est maintenant implantée partout au Canada. Clarica et la Fondation canadienne Tire fournissent 10 véhicules de transport d'organes au Québec. On est la seule province équipée comme ça. 2500 policiers bénévoles se dévouent pour assurer le transport. Chaque année, il y a en moyenne 500 transports de dons d'organes qui se font dans la province du Québec. Et en 2001, 441 transplantations ont pu être effectuées au Québec seulement. Le tout représente une économie de plus de 500 000 annuellement pour le gouvernement par rapport aux autres provinces. Aussi, pour ramasser des fonds, Clarica organise annuellement 4 prestigieux tournois de golf. Et une fois par année, à Sherbrooke, il organise une journée commémorative pour les personnes qui ont été pour les personnes donneurs d'organes, en mémoire pour eux, ceux qui ont permis de sauver des vies. Depuis plus de 10 ans, Clarica et la grande région de Trois-Rivières organisent un rendez-vous santé annuel aux Galeries du Cap pour démystifier le don d'organes pour informer la population. Des kiosques axés sur la santé et le mieux-être sont à la disposition des gens, et ce, tout à fait gratuitement. Dans le cadre de la Semaine nationale des dons d'organes, le rendez-vous santé aura lieu cette année les 25, 26 et 27 avril. Et des conférences seront données sur le mail et des kiosques informatifs seront installés tout au long du mail. M. Marcello est une preuve vivante que la greffe d'organes permet de redonner un second souffle, d'apprécier la vie à sa pleine valeur et d'être un exemple pour la société. Vous aussi, vous devriez appuyer le consentement que M. Marcello va nous parler dans quelques secondes. D'ailleurs, cet après-midi, M. Marcello rencontre une centaine d'étudiants de l'école secondaire des pionniers du programme d'éducation internationale pour les santé.
Merci, Monsieur le maire, and my prayers are with yours. Thank you. Yves Lévesque.
C'est nous.
Oh, François Hollande, qui organise cette conférence de la ACDO du Clericas. Aujourd'hui, c'est le 618 du 2769 jour de marche à travers du Canada. Ma mission vise à accomplir les voies. Premièrement, promouvoir l'importance des dons d'organes et des tissus séchants à chacun des Canadiens. Répartis dans les 600 villes visitables, dont deuxièmement, promouvoir la voie publique par un système amélioré encourage pour les trois parler du gouvernement. Le système le plus apprécié des Canadiens, c'est non précieux consentement. Ce précieux consentement nécessite la création d'un registre national ou banque de données qui aurait tous les Canadiens inscrits comme donneurs d'organes tout en admettant les possibilités qu'aussi pouvaient avoir les opportunités de se retirer de la liste. C'est le même modèle que celui utilisé en Espagne. À quels autres pays dirait-on dominer?
Dans ces pays, d'ailleurs, domine le monde en matière de dons d'organes. C'est on parle de l'Espagne.
Le monde. Plusieurs opportunités de dons
Plusieurs opportunités de dons
furent perdues
Exact.
à cause du système actuel. Le système actuel repose sur la décision finale de la famille, alors que celle-ci est encore sous le choc. Nous dépendons des Canadiens en prise avec des décisions rapides à prendre alors que très occupés. Ils doivent répondre des démarches. Trop souvent, il est trop tard.
C'est important. Et ils vont tout de suite, ils se promènent un peu partout dans toutes les villes canadiennes, puis ils sollicitent les gens de bien vouloir, s'il vous plaît, signer leur fiche de don d'organes. Parce que lui, ça lui permet à vivre, il ne croit pas que ça ne va pas permettre à d'autres de vivre. Alors, il nous explique un peu, il va vous expliquer tout en anglais. Okay? Tout son cheminement, il ne parle pas du tout français. Alors, il y a le caméraman qui est ici, filmé, et il y a un photographe officiel qui est filmé. Et ça, c'est tout commandité par la compagnie Clarica. C'est clair?
Vous avez
C'est pas vrai? OK.
On
Je
est
me
ici
suis
à
trompée.
Montréal pour supporter M. Marcello, il s'arrange bien.
OK. Il s'arrange tout seul. Excusez-moi.
Non, mais c'est très important parce qu'il n'y a pas grand budget.
OK. Il va vous expliquer son cheminement. Alors, je vous laisse avec monsieur.
Donc, j'ai un petit message
Oui.
de la part de Mme Sylvie-Go. Alors, je pense que les groupes 308, 309, 310, prochain examen en biologie, va y avoir une question qui va porter sur la conférence d'aujourd'hui. Yes. OK?
Alors, je pense que vous avez une grande opportunité aujourd'hui. Puis là, il va falloir l'écouter comme il faut. Ça, c'est bien, bien important. Je n'ai pas le goût d'intervenir pendant la conférence. Vous allez avoir à faire un retour autant en anglais ou en bio. OK? Alors, je pense qu'il va falloir vous développer tellement votre écoute. J'ai monsieur ici, Yves Joubert, qui accompagne le conférencier. Et c'est lui qui va vous présenter le conférencier. Alors, M. Joubert.
Bonjour. En français ou en anglais?
Ah, c'est comme vous voulez. Mais je sais que le conférencier va regarder.
Super. Bonjour. Moi, je travaille pour le cas depuis plusieurs années. Depuis 1989, Trois-Rivières a été la deuxième ville au Canada à parler du don d'organes. La première ville, c'était Sherbrooke. Ça veut dire que c'est tout à l'honneur de nous autres dans cette partie de la province du Québec. Parce que depuis tout le Canada entend parler de la cause des dons d'organes grâce à l'Association canadienne des dons d'organes. Au Québec, on est la seule province aussi où on fait du transport de dons d'organes. Il y a 10 véhicules que Clarica et la Fondation canadienne d'AR paient les dépenses et ces véhicules-là sont conduits par des policiers bénévoles partout au Québec pour faire le transport d'organes. Parce que ça va arriver qu'à Montréal, ils vont prendre un cœur, mais c'est à Québec qu'il faut qu'il soit implanté dans la personne qui attend. Là, à ce moment-là, il y a une équipe, c'est des véhicules qui ressemblent à des véhicules de police qui se promènent avec un gros couleur, ça dans le gaz, ils transportent des organes d'une place à l'autre. Georges, il a eu une transplantation en 1995. Il va vous parler de son cheminement et pourquoi il a trouvé que c'était hyper important de faire changer la mentalité ici des gens. C'est pour ça que Georges m'a demandé de trouver des gens qui étaient ouverts d'esprit, qui étaient jeunes, qui étaient capables de pouvoir influencer leur entourage. Bonne journée. Merci.
Hello, everybody. How's everybody feeling this afternoon? Fine. You guys doing exams or something pretty soon? No?
Did you press on the record button?
No, I didn't. Thank you.
This is for the biology teacher.
Yes.
1, 2, 1, 2, testing.
This is on
Okay.
your biology final exam, that's why he's recording it.
So we'll start that all over again. Maybe you guys can say that you're doing good in a very enthusiastic way. How's everybody doing today?
Yeah!
What I'm hoping we can do today is after we finish talking and everything, we're hoping to leave everybody with a feeling that they know a little bit more about organ and tissue donations, so that, you know, tomorrow or next week you can say to your friends or your family, you know what I heard this crazy guy that's walking across Canada told us? Something important that's going to leave you with a good feeling, okay? I'm going to try and attempt to do that this afternoon, okay? Now, first of all, organ and tissue donations is a life-saving procedure. Right now, we have 4,000 people in our country, Canada, and all the provinces across Canada, that are waiting very desperately for organs to save their lives. Okay? So many people might not know anybody that's on a waiting list, or might not know anybody that was on a waiting list. But chances are, in your lifetime, you will probably know somebody, whether it's going to be a family member or a friend, or, you know. So this is a very important issue for everybody to understand. Is everybody understanding? Yes. Okay. Now, here is what we're going to hope to do today. We're going to hope to leave you with a feeling about how important it is to think about becoming an organ donor yourselves. Now, you are not, at this point, legally at the age where you can consent to become an organ donor. Your family has to consent to that. Okay? Even though there is a card here, a driver's license, I believe.
Yes, insurance card also.
An insurance card that we're asking people to sign. We want to leave you today, this afternoon, with a feeling that, you know, you would like to become an organ donor. Now, we know it's a yucky subject to think about when you pass away. Nobody wants to think about that, right? I mean, when you have computers and boyfriends and girlfriends to think about, who wants to think about, you know. But we want to take this afternoon for you to just take a few minutes to think about this, okay? Because eventually everybody's going to pass away, right? Is anybody going to live forever? We have anybody here that's... So eventually everybody's going to pass away. What we'd like you to do is think about becoming an organ donor. And if you do that, that means that if you made that decision to become an organ donor, one day when you do pass away, you can save up to 8 people's lives. Did you know that? Okay, there's something that you can tell your friends. bet you nobody knew that in this room. That your decision can save up to 8 people's lives. That means that somebody can receive a heart, 2 kidneys, 2 lungs, a liver, a kidney, or 2 kidneys, sorry, I said that, a pancreas that can save a diabetic's life, and a bowel part that can save somebody with colitis. So there's 8 lives that can be saved from this one decision, plus you can restore 25 other people's lives. You can give them eyesight, you can make people walk again, your veins could be taken out and they can, somebody that's suffering with a blood disorder can live better. So altogether, you're helping about 35 people. Isn't that amazing? One decision can help save 35 people's lives. So that's why it's very important that you think about that and talk about it. Because we are living in an age right now where our medical technology is so advanced, our drugs are so advanced, we can pass on the precious gifts of lives to others that need it. Now that's the one side of it. Let's look at the other side. The other side is that you might know a family member or a friend, or possibly yourselves, that one day might come away from a doctor's examination and you have a virus with your kidney or something wrong with your heart, and one day you might need an organ transplant. And then you would hope that everybody is signing their cards so that organs would be available. Now, if we can get this message to every single person right across our country, if we got everybody to become organ donors, those 4,000 people that are presently on the waiting list, all their lives would be saved. Now, unfortunately, we haven't brought this message to Canadians enough for them to know how important this is. So that's why I'm walking across the country and I'm visiting communities, I'm visiting schools, hospitals, and all different sectors of the community, and we're hoping hospitals and all different sectors of the community, and we're hoping to leave people with a better feeling about organ and tissue donations than they already had. We're hoping to have people like yourselves talk about it, become more interested in this, you know. And also, I think personally, the thought of becoming an organ donor is a very unselfish act, right? Because you're thinking of others. And if you're doing that, you become a hero. Because one day, you're going to be a hero to all those people. Now, I can say that for a fact because my life was saved 6 years ago. I found out I had liver disease, and I was told I only had not too much time left to live. I actually had 2 days left to live when I was rushed to the hospital. And if a liver wasn't available, I wouldn't be here today. Somebody had to make that decision. And because they made that decision, my life was saved, and so were 5 others. And today I'm walking across Canada, and that person that made that decision is my hero. So I want to leave you with a very powerful feeling about how important it is on becoming an organ donor. Okay? Now I'm going to bring up here Dear Tony Wilson. She's been with me for 8 months. She's from Kelowna, BC, and she's going to say a few words to you in a couple of minutes. And this is Kurt. He's from Chatham, Ontario. He's been with me for about 4 months. I also want to recognize Eve and his dad, Jill. They're We're with Clarica, and that's, are you familiar with Clarica? That's an insurance company. You're probably a little too young to know about insurance, but they are doing a lot of very important work in your province with this issue. The work that they're doing is saving people's lives. And I need to, as I'm going through your whole province, I need to let everybody know that. And I also want to thank your school for giving us this opportunity to mention this. So, Tia Tony's going to say a few words, and she's got something to do to pass around that.
It took too long, so I started passing around already. What I was starting to pass around is it's an Olympic torch, and George has been carrying it since the day that he started, and it is called, we call it the torch of life, because it represents the continuance of life that happens when you are willing to donate your organs, because when one person passes away, if they donate their organs, their life continues on in someone else's. So the torch, I really hope that everybody gets a chance to touch it and pass it on, because over 1 million Canadians at this point have touched it, and I've gone to many schools with George. We've gone to hospitals, at public, like in the media, people have touched it. At hockey games, we passed it around the entire arena. Well, a few people missed, but a lot of people across Canada have touched it. And as well, on September the 5th, George went to Rome, where the Pope blessed it as well. That he met the Pope, had a 15-20 minute audience with the Pope John Paul II, and so he blessed it as well. The other thing that's passing around is more of my own personal thing. It's a book that, as I've been going with George, I've gotten almost every person that I've met across Canada to write in it, sign it, tell me a little bit about themselves, how they heard about what George is doing, just put their name in it, pretty much just kind of add a little bit of themselves to it. And this is my second book. This one is only being in Quebec. So if you guys get a chance to sign that one as well. The torch is right here, so everybody can see it. How many people have actually touched it yet so far? Okay, so I'm going to pass it. I'm going to start here. We'll pass it around. And I think, are we able to have a question, Torch? So I'm going to kind of go into the back there, and if anybody has any questions that they need to ask George, I don't speak hardly any French at all. I know maybe a few things, so if you can't figure out what to ask in English, maybe one of your teachers can possibly help you out with it. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about what George is doing or anything like that? You guys will have to go do real work if you don't ask questions.
This question is for George. Do you know whose liver you had?
No, and that's a good question. I get that. I don't know who donated the liver, because the donor is kept anonymous. The only way I can communicate is through a screened letter. So we're hoping to change that, though, with this walk. We feel that there's a lot of donor families that really want to meet the recipient, and a lot of recipients that want to meet the donor family. And if there's a mutual desire, then there should be an option to meet. So but that's a good question. That's why I'm doing this walk, is to say thank you, to that donor. Now, thank you for the question. I'm encouraging everybody to really think about asking questions too. And remember, there's no dumb questions. Okay? And I know you guys are taking a biology class pretty soon. So here's an opportunity to ask something. There, we got to break that down.
Did you have some reject that?
And that's a good question too. I experienced a minimal rejection, and that was on the second day after I had the operation. And I was actually out of the hospital in 10 days, and I was back in the gym training after 3 months. And my story isn't any different than other recipients. We have a 95% success rate when people receive organs. So we basically have a cure on our hands.
Yeah, you still drink beer?
Yeah, absolutely. I just had some wine before I came here. And that's a good question too, because there's an idea of when people receive organs that they still have to rely on, you know, living in a bubble sort of thing. Not true. You get your healthy life back. You get to live a normal life and an active life. You know. So we have a cure in our hands, and before that, I couldn't even move from my bed to the next room. I was so sick.
How long was the surgery?
The surgery was about 10 hours, and that's about the usual time, you know, the average time. Because when they're transplanting the organ, they have to cut a lot of things, and then they have to move all the other organs around, you know, and so it's quite the thing, you know.
George?
Were you training before the operation? And if not, why?
Training?
You mean like exercising and training?
Yeah, were you physically active before?
Yeah, I was. I'm a
Did you become because?
Yeah, I'm a fitness promoter.
Okay.
So my life revolved around fitness, you know.
Even before the
Yeah, even before. And one thing that I was doing was, and I was encouraging other people that are very sick with illnesses, is to keep active. Because usually that's your best hope. If you know, die away with the ill, you know, your chances of survival are less.
I have a quiz question.
Okay?
Yeah. Do you know how many chances you have to be a donor out of 1 million, for example? You have 10 times chances to win full lottery than being a donor. You know why? Do you know why? Because the condition needed to be a donor, the brain must stop, but the remain must still be in full condition. That means that the brain has no activity, but the heart still beats in order to keep all the organs sane. Sane? Would that be a good word?
Yeah.
So we keep the person artificially alive, and the family must take a decision to say, okay, we give or we don't give the organs. So that's why we are in the need of donors, because the chance to be a donor is very, very low.
Has anybody seen the movie John Q? Denzel Washington? Okay, you guys gotta go see this movie. You guys like Denzel Washington? Yeah. He plays some cool movie. He plays the father of a child that needs an organ transplant, and they're refusing him to go on the waiting list, this child. And then Denzel Washington loses it and holds the whole hospital hostage to get his child saved. Now, we're not encouraging anybody to hold hospitals ransom.
Not yet.
But what he illustrates is the desperation that families go through when they have their young ones on the waiting list because of this shortage that we're experiencing. So I think that movie is going to help out with what we're trying to do, because it is bringing to the forefront how important this issue really is. I want you to think about something. Do you guys remember the 9/11 thing with the Twin Towers? Yeah? Okay, do you remember how everybody joined in the spirit to try and save those people that might have been still alive in those buildings? Remember how much spirit was everybody was joining in to help save those people, and that was very great to see. Now what we're trying to do is get that same kind of spirit, because we have 4,000 people that need our help just as much as those 4,000 people, you know. And if we can get not only going from school to school, but if we can get our government's attention and all the people that to change things so that those 4,000 people won't be living desperately, that there will be available organs, because right now there is too many organs going to waste. I hear it all the time, you know. And it's a shame, because the family wanted to donate the organs. The individual that passed away wanted to donate our organs, but we don't have enough education and we don't have enough importance in our system to make it happen. So it's really important for everybody to think about this. Any other brave souls that have questions?
Just to say what complementarize what you just said, in our newspaper in March 1999, we said that we have the worst rate in the world.
In the world. That's right. That's right. So, and Canada prides itself not only in hockey, but in having the best standards in almost everything. But yet we're the lowest in this area. So the most that we're asking for this afternoon is just for people to think about it, you know, and to know that this is an important issue. And to talk to your family. When you go home, just let your mom and dad know what you heard this afternoon. You know. Okay?
Another thing maybe we could add is that, don't forget, most of you, how many here are thinking about driving someday? Like about now in their lives, they're driving a car? Who's waiting for their driving license, driving permit? Most of you, right? Now, one day, you're going to get this little card that will permit you to drive. And just on the other side of it, there's a little box that you can check, and I think you have to write your name to next to it there.
It's no good anymore.
It's no good anymore?
No, it's specified, the card, the driving.
So there's no more of that on it?
No. You have a sticker that you can stick to the insurance card.
Okay.
And they are cards furnished by, let's say, the Association Canadienne des Dons d'Organes, or
that are asked right after the person passes away. So when somebody passes away, if they die in a tragic car accident, the hospital officials have to approach the family member to get their consent. Okay? Now, that's been very difficult for the family to say yes, because they're in so much grief and shock. And it's a very difficult moment for them to say yes, even though they had been their desire after hearing that their loved one wanted to donate the organs. At that moment, they're in shock and grief, so they can't say yes. And what happens is that 8 people that could have been saved at that moment don't get saved. And what we want to do, and I want to hear what people's reaction is on this. We want to create a registry where...
we didn't want to bother you.
Sorry. Okay, we want to create a registry where we can put everybody's name on there. More lives are going to be saved, and it'll be an economical boost for our health care. So we got a pretty convincing argument, you know. Now the thing to do is to convince the powers to be, and that's basically our health minister, to understand this. And that's why it was important, also why it was important for us to come here and give you this message and see what kind of feelings that we had from you, so I can go and talk to the health minister and say, you know, I was at the school here in Trois, Rivieres, and the students pretty pretty well agreed with this idea also. Does anybody have anything that they don't see this system working? Any concern or questions? Like, this is the time to really ask too, because I need to hear if anybody doesn't have any good feelings about this system, because we want to bring the total package. You know, we want to understand, you know, why it shouldn't go on then, you know.